grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way.
So today we are swapping out these horrible headlights from the 87 to the 89 300ZX to Xenon projectors. So these are the parts that I picked up. This is the H1 mini projector from the retrofit source. Here's the projector. These have a 2.5-inch lens. They should fit nicely inside of our headlights. Then it's just got a threaded shaft for mounting on the back. Then I've got the H1 Morimoto bulbs. This is a Demon Eye kit that is red. I'll be installing that. And then this one is the halos with switchback. Here's the 70mm halo that will go on to this shroud. So this is the mini Gatling gun shroud for the H1. And if my measurements are correct, we will not need to trim this shroud at all. It should bolt in and fit right inside of our headlight. The reason why I got this mini H1 projector over the D2S projector is because that one was out of stock. I would have much preferred to go with that one because it is a better product. It does put out light a little bit better than these. But from what I understand, these are going to be a world better than what I already have. So it's not like it's really a compromise. So I'm going to put all this stuff away, and then I'll start taking my spare headlights apart and start the retrofit. We'll go over how to strip this thing down. So when you pull it from your car, careful, don't pinch your fingers. You got 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. These require a number 3 Phillips head. Make sure that's firmly seated in there. You should be able to get them out. Alright. To get these lenses out, all you have to do, pop these clips out, take this top trim piece off. That's just a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Then on this side, you got a big spring. Grab your favorite pair of pliers. Without shooting yourself in the eye with it, grab a hold of that. It's not really that strong. So you just pick this side up where the spring was. Then you can pull this straight out of them brackets. And there you go. Headlight is out. That was actually super quick. Tear that down. You'll probably have to drill these. There's no way these come out. There's no way. Broke the head off. Let's see about this one. Would have never guessed. I actually got one of them out. I would like to get this piece off to make it easier to heat this edge, but I have taken these apart without removing this. So if that doesn't come off, it is not a big deal. These are number 3s. When you go to heat this, remove your bulb, otherwise you will build up pressure inside of there and could potentially blow the glass out. We're going to heat this evenly around the outside. If you have access to an oven, do it that way. It's easier. Heat it for like 20 minutes at like 250 or whatever it is they recommend. I don't have access to an oven. If I put it in my household oven, the girlfriend will kill me. So we're not doing that. Got your good old Harbor Freight Drill Master heat gun. Instead of using a heat gun, I decided to put it in front of the heater. This should be just as good as using an oven. We'll leave it here for 10-15 minutes and see if this will get the plants off there. That thing is smoking hot. Welding gloves. And then I'm just going to try to get something small along this seam. You can see that the putty is already starting to fall apart. Okay, so get in here in the corner. Just a little bit of pressure. And it's opening. I don't know if you can hear that. There it is. Just takes some heat and pressure and you can get these right off there without breaking them. With that being said, I have broke 2 of these already. Now that these are cooled down, we'll grab a pair of pliers. You got to take out this shield that's in here and just twist it back and forth and pull, and it should come right out. There it is. It's not in there all that hard. I worked on this a lot off camera. I've got the lenses sandblasted. It's looking good. These are going to get painted black here pretty quick. So the next step after you get this torn down, you obviously don't need to sandblast. That's a personal preference. Get it torn down. You need to take out this aluminum bulb retainer here. This is for the 9004 bulb, and you can't use that in here with the projector. The Mini H1 will fit inside of there, and they do come with a nut. But the problem is, it's too thick to actually get the nut to tighten down, then get the bulb retainer on. So what we have to do is heat this, and I've already done it on this one, and then take this out. So once that's out, you need to clean up all of this glue. It's not really glue, it's more like putty that's on here, and get this down right to the metal, because we'll need to put some epoxy on it later. Now that that's cleaned and cooled down, we can actually test fit the projector. The Miramoto kit comes with this little washer, which we won't be using. So you want the nice thick rubber washer, this one here. And then you want this style washer for the back. So we'll take the projector, you stick your rubber washer on there. I think it's a silicone washer, but either way, it goes on there. Make sure you face the projector the correct way. And that'll just go through the hole like that. And then on the back, I put that washer with the bevel facing in. And then you just stick your nut on there. So as you're tightening this nut down, you can feel it try to center itself in the hole in there. So just move it around a little bit before it gets loose again. Tighten it down some more. And just kind of move it, do the same thing, and it'll automatically center itself pretty good. Now, you just want to keep this hand tight for now, because we're going to need to install these and then make sure that the cutoff is aligned horizontally. Otherwise, your cutoff could be, one could be like this and one could be like that, and it'll look weird. So I'm going to take the extra step to actually disassemble the lenses on my car and get these lined up, and then we can finally tighten this nut down here. The reason that this needs to be cleaned is because once this is tight, we're going to take some JB Weld and we're going to seal that washer in. And the reason for that is just to get rid of them air gaps that are right in here. And then we'll also seal the top of this too, because the bulb holder doesn't seal very well, but we'll get to that afterwards. So while we're test fitting this projector, we're going to need to drill some holes into it. So back here, we're going to need to drill a hole for our 3 wires. So mine has the 2 wires for the cutoff, the 2 wires for the demon eyes, and then the 2 wires for the halo. So they'll all come through one piece right here. I just set this piece on here so I can figure out where my hole is going to go. Grab your marker. Today's flavor, purple. And I'm going to put my hole somewhere in here. We'll take the projector back out, then drill this hole out, and then once that's drilled, I'll get this painted. While we're waiting for the paint to dry on the headlights, we're going to talk about these right here. So these are the halos. So there's the shroud without the halo. Looks pretty good. Obviously we want that on there. So I'm going to run the halo wire through the top. You got to be careful because it may show a little bit. Then just figure out where you need to cut on here. You just need to take a little chunk out of here, and then that'll sit up into there nicely. All right, the housing is all painted. I did a nice flat black. It looks pretty good. Then we got the halo on the projector. And then you have your wires for your demon eyes, wires for your halos, and then these two wires are for your high beam. That's for the little flapper inside. And then this shroud here just attaches with 4 screws in the back. And then the demon eye has a bracket. And instead of messing around with making my own, I just bought the brackets for them, so that just bolts in. And then what I did was I actually shortened this cabling here because it was getting in the way going through the hole that I put in the back of this. Got a 3/8 hole. I went with the smallest I possibly could. This cable right here has to pass through there, and that just barely fits. So this will get a rubber grommet in here to seal that, and then I'll fill the inside of that and the outside where it touches the metal with probably a silicone or something just to keep that nice and sealed and watertight. So to start assembling this, we will take the projector. I think the easiest way to do it is to start getting the wires to go through the hole. This one is the one for me that's a pain. You may or may not have to deal with that if you don't do halos or demon eyes. You will have these two, which are the cutoff wires. Once they are fed nicely through there, we'll install our projector, making sure it is up, and then you want to make sure that you don't pinch your wires. We'll get them where they need to be, but they don't need to be underneath that silicone washer. And it's just like we did before. Washer down. Screw your nut onto it. And you can already see it trying to pull itself to the middle. As I tighten this down, every time you shake the projector, it gets loose because it's setting into its hole where it should be. And just go finger tight, and then we'll get that oriented where we need to. The next thing we need to deal with is kind of hard to see in there, but the wires. You want to get them down and out of the way. Now, I think that's fine because you really have to be at a sharp angle to see them, and I don't think you'll be able to see that from when it's mounted in the car. So that's it right there. That's your projector ready to go. Now, before this gets sealed with the headlight, we will install this. So the next step is taking my headlights out, installing this in there, and then getting this aligned. And when it's aligned, we will pull it back out. We will seal this. We will tighten this nut down fully. And then we'll seal these wires in there. Just grab the right side headlight, feed our wires to the back so they don't get pinched. We should put that right in place. Then we just take the spring and reassemble. As easy as that. So now we'll get this put back into the car and do the other side. Alright, so I've been working on this off camera for the past couple days. I got the headlights test fitted in here. I got the ballast installed there on the back. Kind of hard to see because they're black. Should be a good spot for them. So now what I need to do is I need to open up the garage door and back this out and then shine the lights on the door to check the alignment. Now that we know these are aligned horizontally, we're going to take them back out, both of them, lock the nuts back down onto the back of the projector, put everything back together, and then test it again. We don't want to glue the front onto this without knowing that these are perfectly aligned to where you want them. So testing is key, even though it takes time. Now that we've verified that the beam patterns are lined up on both projectors, we're going to take these back out and then seal the cracks with JB Weld. We're going to take and fill this space behind this washer. There's a lot of gaps in here because it's not straight. The metal's not straight on here, so we'll just fill all that in. Got both of these done. Once this dries, I'm going to tighten these nuts down just a little bit more because the washer was compressing a little bit uneven because there was gaps underneath it. And then I will reinstall these one last time and test it. If everything goes good after that, then I will assemble the rest of this, seal everything up, get the lenses on, and do a final assembly. Doing one final test fit before I put the covers on. But I gotta take it outside and make sure everything's aligned. I tightened them down again, and I just want to make sure they didn't turn. Hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be taking these apart and then putting the covers on them tonight. Now that we know that everything is good on these and that high beam and low beam are working perfectly, we'll install the headlight covers. Get that all sealed up. Probably won't video that, just follow the instructions on the sealant manufacturer that you use. So these covers aren't marked, so just make sure you try both of them on to make sure that you get the right one. This retrofit is super close to being done. So these bulbs are not sealed. There's no seal in the back of this. So I picked up these rubber caps on Amazon and just drilled a hole into it. That's going to slide over the back here, and I'll put a zip tie on it. Alright, so the last part is to seal this. I'm going to take JB Weld and I'm going to put it along the shaft here and then seal the space between here to the shaft. That will push up into these grooves to seal that from moisture and dust getting in. Because if water comes down the backside of this bulb, you don't want that just filling that projector right full. When we do this, you want to make sure that you don't get JB Weld on the threads here, and you don't want to push it up higher than where the bulb sits, so you want to keep it level with this surface right in here. I got both of them done. They're not super pretty or anything, but they definitely will seal. You can see the JB Weld. It doesn't come above the tabs there. Same with this one. They're nicely. Just kind of looks like crap on the outside, but that's all hidden. You'll never see it. But we shouldn't have to worry about water issues. And then, of course, these are sealed up nicely too with a little bit of silicone. I still need to finish up some wiring on this, but I'm not going to go over that. Just get the harness from the retrofit source that goes for our car. My car has a wire tuck, so all of this is needing to be done just a little bit different than what their harness would do for me. And it only took a couple seconds to put on there, but that zip tie holds that nice and tight. The hole is at the bottom, so that way if any water runs down here, it's not going to go up into the projector. These lights are pretty well covered by the headlight cover, so it shouldn't be an issue. Now we'll get this put back into the headlight bucket. In the headlight bucket, I believe this is the igniter. This will get tightened down here. I just drilled a couple holes in the back for a zip tie, and that holds it nice and tight. And then the wires for the bulb will hook there. The other end of the wire here, there's a hole in the chassis that will slip down through and go to my ballast. So this right here is the driver for the LED halos. This will go to the wiring that I've already done. And then this plugs into the halo itself, so it's pretty easy. And I just drilled a couple holes in the back there and zip tied that in too. You got to make sure that this bulb wire right here has enough play in it so when the headlights go all the way down, it's not pulling on these. And everything wraps around to this side, so that goes to your ballast. This is your demonized and your high beam wiring, and then right here is your halo. All right, so that's in. All the wiring is tucked away out of the, kind of hard to see in there, but it's all in there out of the way of the hinges, zip tied down. Now the last step would be to just get these aligned and then bolted in completely. Both headlights are in. This one is going to be your problem with wiring, as it doesn't have that big of a space down there, so it's still manageable, but there is a lot less room and it's going to take you a little bit longer. Just got to be careful and just do it right. Make sure that nothing is going to get into the way of that headlight. By the way, the bumper did not need to be removed to do this. My wiring for this headlight runs along the crash bar up front, so I had to remove mine to make sure that I could get it tucked in the way I wanted it. On a stock Z31, that will not be an issue.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go,